London. So this was the first full day. I think this was after the COVID test negative. Take a COVID test 2 days prior to that. There's just having to go around and, in a mask the entire time. It's not this mask, but something similar. I was wearing my cloth mask the first 2 days, and I felt that more and more I just needed a stronger, a thicker mask. So this is a thicker mask KN95. So having that on you all day, yeah, wearing a mask sucks. Everybody knows that. But also, if you have any sort of brain in your head, you know that that's the way you can help prevent getting and transmitting the virus. Anyway, what we did, like in Japan, the first full day we hired a guide. We had her for a half a day. I would definitely suggest getting a guide. It helps a lot just to get your feet wet and to get everything your head around what you're doing. So she took us to we didn't have a plan really, so she just took us to all of the major touristy spots because that's what we wanted. We're tourists, so we wanted to see the touristy spots. So the video starts at Westminster Abbey because she was telling us about all the stuff with Parliament and the clock tower with Big Ben inside of it and all that stuff. And I didn't get any video of it, I don't think. Maybe I did with my phone. I have a picture of it, so I can put a picture of Big Ben and all the Parliament here. Then, literally, you're standing there looking at Parliament and everything, all these iconic buildings. And across the street, there's a park, and it has all of these statues of famous people, basically, like Winston Churchill was there, and there's a Gandhi and a Nelson Mandela and all that. Anyway, you turn, and Westminster Abbey is just over to the corner. So the video starts there. So what you're going to first see is Westminster Abbey. Let's go ahead and get to the video, and then I'll just break in when there's pieces that I need to explain. So the tube. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the tube later, but overall it's very easy to navigate, and that was our main means of transportation all over London. This was I don't remember this station, but I just remember it being cavernous and quite amazing, and all of these escalators were large. This is Westminster Abbey. I talked about that a moment ago before. Westminster Abbey is giant. Better times, I'd love to go inside and look inside because Darwin is buried there, and I think Hawkins is. Our tour guide actually got to see when they interred Hawkins' ashes. So his stuff is in there. There's a lot of history. Obviously, it's a very old building. This is the changing of the guard. We were walking down, and our guide is just really good, so she was able to time it out really good. So let's listen in. I only cut this little video of Buckingham Palace, but I mean, there's just giant crowds always. This is the other end of the whole place. This is the actual entrance because a long time ago people weren't allowed in unless you were royalty. So this was the actual entrance to the whole facility. So there's a giant park, and then Buckingham Palace is on the other end. These are the guards, and they change in and out on the other end, I believe. I forget exactly. But these guys are on horseback all the time, and these horses live in the stables on the inside of this building here. This is Millennium Bridge. They built this back in 2000, and then they realized that there was a an engineering flaw that if a lot of people walked and synchronized, it would start to shake. So they opened it and then they had to close it again and re-engineer it so that way it would go. So this is the first time walking over the Thames. It was really cold. Even though it's a river, the wind is blowing. It's really, really cold. But beautiful bridge, a lot of cool art all around, and just a really great vantage point to see. So this is just looking over the Thames. You can see everything going on. Now, the tube. The tube was the way to get around everywhere, and it's very efficient, easy to use, and not too expensive. And you could just, Elaine had an app on her phone, so we just pulled up the app, and okay, we need to go here, so we need to take this train at this station, and then go this many stations down, and then you're off to the next place. And it made just getting around the city incredibly easy, and they're relatively clean, and they're basically always on time. So really great way to get around the city. Tower Bridge. See the I guess the towers. But the towers are here, the bridge is here. We're sitting here having a snacks, taking a break. So we've been walking since around 9 o'clock this morning, and it's now almost 3. So we're taking a quick food break, and we're sitting here. There's a bunch of, all these are like food booths and like different, just like touristy stuff. So took a break. It's cold right now. I think it's 40, but we're right. The Thames is obviously, the bridge goes over the Thames, which is like under here. You can't see it, but you feel the breeze coming off the water, even though it's still river. It's cold, but real nice day. It's 40. It's overcast. It was sunny, but the clouds have moved in the last few hours, and it's gotten colder. This jacket, that's the reason I bought the jacket, and it's working. So anyway, eating, bridge, London. It's been pretty nice so far. This is the middle of the first full day here. I didn't get as much video as I'd like, but there's so many things going on. You're trying to take in, trying to be in the moment. You're trying to listen to the tour guide. She was really great. And just trying to absorb everything that's going on and run a camera. The camera's thing is going to suffer before my own input is going to suffer, right? So it was great. Figuring out the tube was the key. The tube was really easy because I could just use my watch and pay every time I go in. So I just activate the card on my watch and pay on the little receiver and go right through. You don't have to worry about anything. It's real easy to navigate. So from that point, I think we just went back on the tube and went back to the area around the hotel, Covent Gardens, and I don't remember. It's all a blur, and I'm glad I got some video, but overall, it was a great first day in London to figure out everything and figure out what the best course of action for the next few days was. So I think that's about it for like major video. I do have some other things, but that was like the big walk around and absorb everything day. So London was great. I look forward to going back, and maybe someday this pandemic will end. Who knows? And get back there. I think this is like one of the better cities in the world at, like, as far as just like everything, because you look at everything and there's just like, oh, there's 500 years of history in that building, and that building over there is this and that, and it's just like Manhattan or Tokyo in that matter, where you point your camera at something and it's just cool. It just looks great, and that's the way the whole place is. So I enjoyed London, and I hope to be back in better times.